Hello, welcome everyone. Thank you so much for being here. Welcome to another toy artist interview. We've got a really, probably one of the most unique, I think, style of toy photographers on today. Phil, he's the man. You know him, you love him. Here he is. Phil, how you doing?
I'm well. How about you?
I'm doing pretty good. Doing pretty good. I just had a weirdly big bowl of ice cream in the middle of the day, and I haven't had dinner yet, so I'm feeling good.
Yeah, but you're super hyper. Not just kidding.
Yes, I am, and it was dairy-free ice cream. Don't worry, because if it wasn't, then the rest of the day would have been pretty bad for everyone.
I see.
Well, Phil, tell me about Phil. Tell me about you. Tell me about you as a toy photographer. Just give me a little bit about yourself.
Well, obviously my name is PhillForehand. PhillForehand. I am 24, and I'm kind of just kind of a man of hobbies at the moment. I do a little singing. No one gets a demonstration though.
Whoa! All right.
And and I also draw sometimes, obviously, and I do. I live in California, and I do a couple toy photography things. Of course, with the photo montages, and that's mainly what I do. I do the photo montage and kind of pop arty style kinds of stuff.
Yes. I'm trying to get the best look for us here. Awesome. And so yeah, you have like a super, like, it's just different and unique than just about any other toy photography I've seen. And it's just like you look at it and you're like, oh, this is really cool and really different. So just like tell me about like that style and like how, like, is that a conscious kind of thing you've done with your style, or does it just like happen that way? It's like tell me about how that occurred. If it
Well, sorry. So no, I think the editing started out. I've been editing, like doing digital art, like where you draw or whatever, and then you put it in the computer and color it for a long time. I think my whole thing with miniatures probably started with Coraline, actually, the movie Coraline.
Oh.
And I really liked that movie. So I thought that was, and so I started looking up how to do like dioramas and stuff online, and of course I come to find out, I'm definitely not good at crafting. So also I think part of it too is that sorry. Is that I think part of it too is that I became a little bit self-conscious about having the exact same picture but with a different figure in it, because sometimes people will say, haven't I seen that before? And I'm like, technically not.
Really? Is that something that would happen to you, like if you're shooting with like a diorama or something, and it's like something that felt the same but like you're just
so
a figure or something?
Well, so I think I told you before on one of the streams, but I started with an instant camera.
Oh, okay.
And that was hard because, I mean, they're not great for like super well like focused and like and close-up shots, and so I got pretty good with it, but it didn't work, like every single time. And
Got you.
so like, and I was just shooting outside my backyard, so like everything that I could possibly make look interesting, I would try that. But yeah, that did happen to me where someone was like, haven't I seen that one before? And I'm like, well, kind of, but not really. So
yeah, I know how that can feel. Then that's like, even if that person, when they made that comment or was asking a legitimate question, like sometimes those can kind of stick with you. Even though they mean well, they probably love you, but like you're just like, sometimes that comment could stick. I know that feeling. So that's kind of something that you just kind of led you to creating it, like your backgrounds and your environments like digitally.
I think so. Yeah. I don't know. It always. I've been editing for a long time. I used to even edit those instant photos. I'd scan them in, and put filters on them, but I guess I just kind of got into the whole fantasy photography thing, and trying to edit in sort of that way. And then obviously come to find out photo montage is like legitimately a thing, that people do. So I was like, hey, why not?
Yeah, you're the first person I've heard that term photo montage before.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, it's a real thing. I mean,
It is. It definitely is. And Johnny over here says he followed Phil. And everyone who's watching should do exactly what Johnny did. Go to Phil's Instagram. I got it linked in the description of the video. It's all right there. Super easy. Or just go to Instagram and go to PhillForehand. Just like that. Follow his work. I mean, this guy's like got 71 followers. He deserves 71,000. Let's get him up there. Let's get him up there. So I'm going to be keeping an eye on that number. That better be over 100 by the end of the week. No, way over that by the end of the week.
Mm-hmm.
So, thanks, Karen. All the really nice comments. You guys are really great.
Oh, hi, Mom.
Oh,
Karen Springer. That's my mom.
Hi, Phil's mom. Thanks for watching. So, Dead by Nick throws a question in there. It says, what kind of toys are these? So that's a great question. Like, typically, what types of figures, toys do you like to use?
I use a lot of different types of Funko figures. Both of those that you just showed are. They're just not pops. And so, but yeah, so the latter two that you just showed, that one, and then the one before that were, that one. Those are, that one's very edited, but it's they're called rock candies, and they're my favorite type of Funko figure now. They're no longer in production, unfortunately. Hopefully they'll bring them back one day.
Yeah, my wife Harlene's got she's got a ton of the rock candy Harley Quinns.
Oh, really?
So totally familiar with and they remind me too, there's another that I don't believe they are made by Funko, but there's another one, what's it called, like Cryptozoic statues that are like a little bit taller than the rock candies, but they're just like really cute. This similar type of stylization. Ever seen those before?
I'm not sure. Maybe I'm not super familiar with all the brands yet, so it's like so that one that's first there. That one is a Funko vinyl bobblehead,
right?
But spelled VYNL period.
I've definitely seen these ones before too.
So, yeah,
cool. So
yeah, mostly... I mainly,
No, sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say I mainly shoot the rock candies. Every now and then I'll shoot a pop if I have one, and it's the only one of a certain character that I have.
Right.
Yep. Pretty
Mando
much.
Challenge.
Yep.
Cool. Okay, so when you did the Mando Challenge, you resorted to the Funko Pop because it was the only Mando-ish type of figure.
Yeah,
well,
I mean, I
good thing you had it.
Huh?
It's a good thing you had it.
Yeah, I mean, I do technically have the a Boba Fett Funko soda as well.
Oh.
But I was like, well, Cobb Vanth is a little more original to the Mandalorian, so to speak. So
I do appreciate that choice for sure. And so Karen in the live chat is throwing in a question. I think about this one.
Yeah, that one's a drawing, Mom.
Yes. Jack of all trades, man of many talents. This is fantastic. Do you use like one of those like draw like on your like a tablet with like one of those pens or?
No. So this one is actually that's a white charcoal drawing on black paper.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I'm serious. And then I mean, don't get me wrong. I edited it just a little bit.
That's fantastic.
But I also used a gold Sharpie for some of the the accents on there. So
that is fantastic. Comic Dad in the chat says, "Can we talk about the Smee picture? It's absolutely gorgeous." Which is the Smee picture?
That's that drawing.
Oh, like Smee from
Peter Pan. Yeah, the upcoming one.
Oh, okay, right. Peter Pan and Wendy, right? Is that what it's called?
Yep.
Yeah, that looks pretty good.
Thanks.
Looks pretty good. Yeah. So thanks so much, guys, for all the love in the chat. You guys are awesome.
Yeah, for real. I'm really appreciative of all the things I've seen so far.
Really, really awesome. I did also see this is a Barbie one, right?
Yeah,
This is awesome. I watched the new trailer that was came out today or yesterday.
I haven't seen it yet, but I did see the first trailer, and it looked interesting.
Yeah, definitely, absolutely. Thanks so much, you guys. You guys are awesome. Okay, and so this was one for your no figure challenge, which was I think really smart to use this. So tell me about tell me about from start to finish how this was created.
Start to finish. Oh gosh. Well, I don't remember every single picture I used in this, mind you. But so the checkerboard. Okay, so I started with the can, obviously, and it actually is a black and white can.
Yeah.
But so I mean so you can see a little like starburst kind of thing behind the can. I added that, and then there's a little bit of if I remember correctly, I added so there's that checkerboard pattern in the background is actually a building on a street near where I live.
Oh, really?
And then I flipped it so that it was in reverse on the other side.
How cool.
Just to kind of, make it a little bit more symmetrical. And there's also a string pull painting overlaid in the background too. It's hard to really explain, but if you look, I mean, and I think I might have used some of my ink splatter texture, but I can't remember.
Okay, that's what I was asking. Like, is that what's kind of like over some of what the checkerboard is and above the checkerboard, stuff like that?
I think so, yeah. I mean, it's either that or the string pull, yeah.
That is so cool. So you're actually using. So the background is a lot of it is compiled of other photos you took.
Yes.
And so the checkerboard is a photo of a building near where you live.
Yes. And so I try to not use I mean, I really am pretty religiously about, not using other people's photos.
Yeah.
I definitely, unless I will do it in very small circumstances if I know that it's already public domain.
Right. Yeah.
And
like
so I mean,
or something.
Yeah, and the Met actually has some. That is the Metropolitan Museum. They have their website actually has public domain art images that you can download and use. This isn't an ad, but I'm just saying. And
That's
so.
cool.
And so I have used those a couple of times, like, just for fun, just to add kind of a different look. But typically, yeah, whenever you see images by me, they're 100% my own photos.
That's really cool. And I think that's also like it's a good kind of thing to be aware of, because especially like I feel like our generation, we kind of grow up with Google being such just like an easy and obvious resource to use, and it's just like, oh, all these pictures that I can just get for free. But like technically somebody took that photo, somebody worked to create that, and and most likely it's owned by somebody and can't.
Right, exactly. And so I try. I mean, to be fair, I mean, I do a fan art, but still, it's like whenever I do, it's something that I've still kind of compiled or what have you. So
cool. That's really awesome. I'm gonna throw this question that Comic Dad is asking. It's like, what kind of gear do you use? So I guess starting off with the camera, like what do you use for like your camera and stuff?
Well, honestly, I just use my phone.
That's fantastic. I love that so much.
I mean, it kind of helps with having the smaller file sizes when I'm shooting the things individually anyway. Plus, I'm just better at it. I have a camera, but it's not... I'm just not good with it. So I'm just like, well, I have my phone, so I may as well use that.
And the phones are capable of a lot and making really nice stuff. Yes, Stubbs over here is also... He appreciates the phonography, and so do I. I use my phone a lot with a lot of things, especially for video. Like the video my phone takes is amazing.
Yeah.
So that's so cool. And so what about what software do you use to edit?
I use a free program called GIMP.
GIMP. Okay, cool.
I also, I mean, I would use Photoshop and stuff, but I'm just better with GIMP. I'm more familiar with it. I've been using it for years. And
great.
and I also have the Gimmick, spelled G apostrophe MIC, plugin installed to that.
Awesome. Okay, cool. So yeah, so tell me. So I talk about GIMP a lot on my channel here, just because it's amazing how like close it is to Photoshop and how much you can do with it, and it's 100% free.
Yeah,
like, it's just crazy. So I don't know. Tell me about like I don't know. Tell me about why you like to use GIMP. Like just like I love to talk about GIMP because it's such a great resource.
So I think I just got really used to GIMP when my dad had Linux on his computer, and that was kind of like what I had. So I mean, I just kind of got used to all their, little setup stuff and whatnot. I mean, I don't really know, I'm just more familiar with it. I know what the tools are called most of the time, I just kind of got used to it, I guess.
Yeah, just from using it. That's all you got to do to get used to something, is just to use it, even if at first it's like pretty confusing.
Yeah.
So that's really cool. And so did you have any like experience using Photoshop, or did you just like learn how to use GIMP just from start? The only reason I know how to use GIMP is because I know how to use Photoshop.
Well, I have used Photoshop in the past. I just don't have it anymore. So.
Okay, gotcha.
Oh, and just to throw a little side note, the one you're on right now is a Lego.
Yes.
Okay, just making sure we throw that out there, because that's not my regular Funko.
Yes, I really like the direction, like, because I remember when like Lego was news that there's going to be like Mario Lego, and then this is what they came out with. People were like, this is kind of weird, but I think it's really cool. I don't really, I don't have any of this, but I think they're really cool looking little thingies.
I do too. So,
isn't there like on his chest? Isn't there usually like a little screen or something?
Yeah, so there is, and his eyes and mouth are also a screen. However, I haven't yet put batteries in mine. So actually, what I did was I just copied what I saw in a picture that, for the eyes and mouth. I just overlaid that in GIMP. But I kind of essentially drew it with the shapes, like the ellipse select tool for the eyes, and but yeah, for his chest, I just decided, what, I'm not trying to make it look exactly like the,
Right.
I mean, so I was like, it doesn't probably make sense for him to have that on his chest in just a normal photo. So I was like, okay.
Yeah, I think that works really it works really great, because I feel like that would almost kind of take you out of what you're accomplishing in this photo by seeing like that. So I think that was, I mean, and it's flawless. It's absolutely seamless. Everything with his face and everything, totally flawless. That's so cool. So tell me about this one. So like, how did you create the castle and all of this stuff behind here?
Let's see. It's been so long now. Well, so the fire is a filter that I found that just adds a lava pattern to like everything. And but I had it so that it was a gradient from, I believe, black to red. And then
gotcha.
And then I overlaid that filter, and it came out like that, and I thought it looked really neat.
That's brilliant. Oh, Johnny, thanks so much, dude, for the super chat. He says, Phil, keep up the great work. Awesome, buddy. And have a great stream, Jared. Everyone, have a great day. I'm off to bed. It's late here in the UK. Thanks, Johnny. Have a great night. Thanks
so much.
Thanks for everything, man. Always super supportive. He's the man. That's awesome.
Yeah, and sorry if I'm like really awkward.
You are doing great. You're doing fantastic. Trust me. You should see the first time I was ever on camera on my first video. It's pretty pathetic. You're doing great.
Okay. All right. Well, thanks. All right. So, and then the walls of the castle. So the floor. Oh, this is fun. Actually, this is a fun detail. So so you can see how it's kind of like a hallway, and it's like going in or back. Yeah. Well, so I had the picture of the wall already, which is a 3D print that I made.
Cool.
Yeah, yeah. When you go up and look at that first picture, that's Obi-Wan Kenobi. I 3D printed the TIE interceptor.
What?
But yeah, so it actually looks like this in real life. It's just all silver.
Okay.
Yeah, there we go.
Cool.
Sorry,
It looks like a Jedi starship, but like painted to look like a TIE. Like it's awesome.
Thanks.
That's so cool.
So, anyway, back to the Mario picture. But sorry, I'm gonna have you flip flop all the places.
That is quite all right.
But yeah, so that's a filter, where I was able to make like there's a filter under the frames category where you can essentially make a cube out of the photo, like you're looking into a cube. And so I just put the regular version of the picture really far out, and then so it made it kind of like a hallway, and then I just replaced the floor and ceiling because it would have looked kind of weird with the doors those spots.
No,
So,
I think it's brilliant because there's great perspective, and all of the other parts of the photo go along with like the floor and stuff. It's great. It's really cool. I definitely would not be able to create whole environments like this. I wouldn't even know where to start.
well, thanks. I guess this is kind of my my response to dioramas. Since I'm not good at crafting, I just
Just make your own digitally. That's
Yep.
so cool. Is it ever like, let's say for instance you create this photo, and do you ever kind of go back to like, okay, well I can make like hallway type kinds of things? Do you go back to that type of same technique you used to make this into another like digital diorama?
Oh, sure. Yeah, I think I had done that plenty of times before I did that one, actually.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go.
So-
That's awesome.
Yeah. Well, like that Harley Quinn picture too. That one in the middle there.
Yeah.
Same technique. Just not so far back.
And so I'm assuming that you will take these photos all like completely separately. Like you have one of Harley,
Yeah.
one of Spoon, whatever.
Yep.
That's awesome. So tell me about how you like put the reflection of Harley on the spoon.
Oh, well, I just copied her face, put it over the spoon, and used one of the blending modes, but I can't remember which one it was.
Because you're gonna have to like warp it to like make it look like it's on that convex type of spoon,
Yeah.
concave, whatever.
Yeah, I actually don't remember how much I warped it. Maybe a little, but
Yeah,
but
it looks
part of
perfect.
it too is probably the fact that the spoon is shiny, right? And so, so you can see the light on the spoon, anyways. That kind of
Right.
helps, I think.
It does a lot. That was my next question, actually. That is so cool. So, oh, you know what? So, okay, I have a joke for you. And I thought of a joke all by myself today, and it's Star Wars. It's Star Warsy.
Okay.
Just driving home today. So, what type of car does Qui-Gon Jinn have? Anybody else in the chat, if you guys want to go for it? What kind of car does Qui-Gon Jinn have? A Liam Neeson.
Oh. Oh gosh.
That's pretty great,
I
right?
wouldn't have been able to come up with that, but
That's pretty great, right? Like I feel like that's something you could find in like a joke book. Like that's how good that is.
if you do say so yourself.
It's pretty good. If I do say so myself, that's how good that joke is. Liam Neeson. Anyway,
I like that.
I just had to get that out.
I like that.
Oh, you know what? I really wanted to ask about this. And so my question on this is actually different. Like, because seeing this photo, so everyone's like, thanks, you guys. That's a Google joke, says Mike. Thanks, guys. I'm glad you appreciate it. I didn't realize how much of the photos and the environments you make are like you use other photos you've taken and then like like you told us about the checkerboard with the can. So now I'm looking at this one. I'm like, so tell me about how you put this one together, because now I'm like, oh, are these flowers actually real flowers now? Like, now I need to know. So please.
Those flowers are real flowers. They're from my grandma's garden, or in my grandma's garden. And to be fair, it's one photo flipped, but
still,
yeah. So
symmetry.
So at least a portion of it is technically real flowers.
That's awesome.
Let's see. The background, the Emerald City in the background, that's another 3D print that I made.
Oh, wow. That's so crazy. I had no idea so much of the stuff in your photos were practical. I mean, practical, real, however you want to say it. I just imagine you just kind of created everything. That is so cool.
I did create it. Just kidding.
I mean, you did. I'm saying I just imagine it was so much that you kind of just gathered from digital stuff, but I think there's so much more to it, and I think that's so awesome.
Yeah, typically one of my rules is, even if I'm drawing something with a photo montage, I always try and use at least 2 distinct photos, and I usually don't count an overlaid texture as one of them. Cool. I know that probably sounds weird, but
no, definitely. So I think that's cool, because it kind of gives yourself, you're challenging yourself and giving yourself a goal for every photo.
Yeah. So but that also kind of comes as a hindrance sometimes, because it's like I try to separate my drawings and my photography sometimes, and it's like, well, I don't have to, but I feel like I should. And I don't know.
I think that's really cool. I think it's like a personal goal or a personal challenge you have for every photo you create, every image, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, and so this was actually one of my first times, if not my first time, with this Oz picture, with the flowers and erupting kind of the scene, but like you can still see her.
Yeah, that's something I actually wanted to mention too, because there's a different type of depth like to this photo than some of the other ones, because there's stuff in the foreground and in the background, so it's just like there's all this extra cool depth, and I think that's really cool. I really like that, and this is Stephanie Gleason's favorite one so far. So that's cool.
To the person who asked if I'm influenced by pop art or street art,
yes.
Yes, actually, I am definitely inspired by those. Like that Barbie picture earlier, that's definitely kind of more of like a pop surrealism kind of style that I was striving for there, because in that one, obviously, I got kind of the psychedelic like mountain and stuff, but also you can see that I've totally put some strands in her hair, and
yes,
and pretty much anywhere that you see kind of a harsh, not harsh, but a more pronounced highlight or shadow, it's more than likely what I did is I used the dodge and burn tool in those areas.
Okay.
Just cool. to add a little bit more painterly,
Yeah.
But I'm definitely inspired by pop art, street art. Obviously, it's probably better that I'm not doing it on the street. So there was that. But
hey, I mean, toy photography on the street's definitely possible. But
I mean like street art.
Oh yes.
Like as if I were doing graffiti or something.
Right. Because that can be vandalism.
Yeah. I can't tell what that emoji was from here, but
it was a smiley.
Oh, okay.
Will enforce. So Stephanie Gleason asks, how long have you been doing this? It's a great question.
So it depends on exactly what you want to know. Just toy photography in general, or how long have I been doing the photo montage?
All of it.
Okay. Well, okay, so I probably started back in 2017 or very early 2018, I think, was when I've got my very first Funko rock candy, which was a Luna Lovegood figure. I think I might actually have the picture as one of my first pictures. Don't feel the need to go down there because that would take you forever. But yeah, so that's I started back in those years, and then as far as the photo montage, I think that's kind of become part of just a subconscious way of me creating. So I mean, I've been putting filters on my, instant photos when I first started, with the instant photos. As far as actually piecing photos together, I'm sorry, I don't remember. It's been a really long time of doing it and just enjoying the process.
Yeah, that's kind of cool because there's never like there's not like a moment where you can think of where like, okay, this I started doing it now. It's just kind of something you've always just been expressing yourself with, I guess, right?
Pretty
Like,
much, yeah.
I think that's cool. I think that's really cool. And Mile High Plastic Guy, that is totally cool. Totally cool, man. Thank you, sir. And always, what a nice guy. Oh, Andy Warhol. I've totally
Yeah, so
forgotten.
every now and then I am inspired by Andy Warhol. So
That's cool. Quite the compliment.
yeah,
I'm curious as to, so I love how Wonder Woman's all pixelated. She looks like she's in a I don't know, old game. So
yeah.
yeah, how did
So
you do that? How'd you do that?
it's a filter in the Gimmick plugin.
Oh, okay.
As far as that goes, for the just the pixelation part of it, um, it's a filter. I believe it's called Mini Stick, whatever that's supposed to mean.
Hmm.
But it essentially turns the picture into like these, blocks and
Yeah, it's cool. It's a really cool filter, and I feel like that can, I don't know, come in handy for a lot of cool stuff. And so,
yeah, I do
work
it.
for
I
this.
do it a lot for like old type video games. Like when I'm inspired, because video games are actually one of my big inspirations, and I usually try and have, if it's not all inspired by a video game, I like to think at least that I that I like to hide, something video gamey somewhere in there, so
Yeah.
that's kind of still sort of.
What what games are like some of your biggest inspirations?
Well, let's see. So Lego games, probably.
Cool.
Kingdom Hearts is a big one.
Oh, nice.
You saw a picture of Lara Croft, so definitely Tomb Raider.
Classic.
And I think that, I mean, sometimes it's whatever game I'm playing too. I mean, right now I've been reintroducing myself to a game called Disney Universe that was one of my childhood games, and I really liked it. As weird, as funny as that might sound. So it's like, I've been doing a lot of just that kind of thing.
Awesome. That's really cool. But yeah, I think I feel like it's probably a pretty common thing with like for video games to be inspirations for us. I mean, it definitely is for me too. That's for sure. That's awesome, man. I'm gonna keep going here. I feel like I barely even scratched the surface. Nice. Here we go. Mountain Dew inspiration.
Yeah, I don't know what I was going for with that one, but I made it and I was like, well, why not?
I like how you made the Mountain Dew purple because this wasn't a purple Mountain Dew at first, was it? This was
No.
a normal one, right?
Yeah.
All right. Cool. I like it.
I mean, every now and then I don't really know what I'm striving for with a picture. I just kind of create and see what happens.
And that's all you got to do. That's
Yeah.
all you got to do. Okay, so I'm seeing some things that look familiar to me from like a Star Wars kind of thing, like just like some of this stuff back here. What is this stuff? Oh, I'm using my mouse as if that's showing up. Oh, it is showing up.
That's fine. Essentially the background, right?
Yeah, so yeah, like the we got some like vents, and it looks like kind
Yes.
of like Tatooine-ish.
So
type of stuff.
so those portions are pieces of photos or pieces of a photo or whatever that I took at Disneyland at Galaxy's Edge.
Oh, perfect. That's fantastic.
Yeah. So
It's literally like as physically real Star Wars as we could possibly get. So that's really cool.
so
How far are you from Disneyland?
not that far. I mean, it takes I mean, it's been forever since I've been, so I can't really.
I've never been to Disney ever.
Oh, really?
I will eventually. I've never really had that much of a desire, but
Hmm.
ever since Galaxy's Edge became a thing, now I really want to go. But I do really like what Will and Forrest said when basically you were talking about you didn't know where you're going with it, you just kind of did it. So that's my favorite part, not knowing exactly how the photo is going to turn out and then piecing everything together. I like that too. Sometimes it all just works out because of the just pure desire and just enjoyment of what you're doing.
Yeah.
I think that's really cool. That is awesome. This is cool. See, this legitimately looks like actual street art.
So let's see. That's yeah. I mean, yeah, that one was fun to make. Usually when you see stars added, that's because I added that. Like in the eyes, the shines for the eyes.
Right, like in her eyes.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, so the flowers are actually I have a it's like I didn't paint them, but it's a pitcher, a ceramic pitcher that has that design on it.
Really?
Yeah, and so I was like, well, this is interesting, so why not use it? And then the pink brick wall is also a 3D print.
Oh, that's so cool. I would have guessed that you took a photo of a brick wall near you and used that, but I think that's even cooler.
Yeah, so sometimes I don't really have the exact texture that I want without doing that. So
that's so cool.
Hmm.
Awesome. All right, well, I've got I might be sneezing here, but
bless you.
Sorry, thank you. I've got a bunch of questions that were sent over from Instagram, and I thought I would go through those.
Okay.
And answer some of the lovely people that asked some questions. So let me pull that up here. Here we go. I'm still getting used to StreamYard. I've been using OBS Studio for so long, and now I'm switching. Okay, here we go. Hey, there we go. Aha. So the first question is from Yellow Man Studios. It says, can I make this full screen? Well,
I can see it.
But how do you get inspired? Very, very simple, but maybe not so simple question.
Well, thank you, Yellow Man Studios. So yeah, I mean, really for me, inspiration just kind of comes from anywhere. Sometimes I look at one of my figures and I'm just like, oh, I want to create something for them, and I do try and space out kind of like if I've been doing a lot of Disney lately, sometimes I'll switch it up with something Warner Brothers, or what have you. But but I take inspiration from everywhere, video games, movies, comics, especially.
Yeah.
And sometimes, it can be a genre of art. I recently just discovered pop surrealism and thought that, hey, that looks neat. I might incorporate some elements, I don't really know exactly. I mean, sometimes, it's really hard sometimes when I feel like I want to create something, but I'm not inspired.
Yes.
That's always the
absolutely.
hard thing. Like, it's like I want to do something, but I can't because I don't know what to do. But,
I think that's something we can all relate to. Sometimes
So-
it's just tough to like you have you want to do something, but you find yourself like, I'll just look at my shelf and be like, what am I gonna do right now? I've got great lighting outside. I'm just looking at my figures. So like, it happens.
Yeah, it does. And so sometimes I just, wait. I just wait until I am inspired because it's like,
Yes.
I mean, if my heart's not in it, then I don't.
love that.
And I just start randomly creating just whatever. It could come out really neat, but more than likely, I'm just gonna scrap it. So
I love that idea. So often, questions that I'll get on here, like how do you stay inspired? Like what do you do to get inspiration, or what do you do when you're not feeling inspired? Sometimes I'll just say nothing. If I'm not feeling if I feel like I'm in a rut, or I'm just like not feeling the inspiration, it's just not there right now, and I don't want to force it out. So
Yeah.
I'll just kind of just go do something that I love to do, and then just naturally that inspiration is just gonna come back, and it's gonna come back so much better than if I were to force it out.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah.
Cool.
I don't know if it's evident to everybody, but I think a lot of times you probably could sort of tell, at least, if it feels a little, if it feels a little too jumbled or something, I don't know, but
yeah. Just keep your mind open all the time, but that doesn't necessarily mean you have to be like, I gotta think of something now. But just do your normal stuff, while you're at work or at school. Just keep your mind open, and those ideas will come.
Yeah.
So Toy Stories over here is throwing us something. He says sometimes when I don't feel inspired, I sit in my room and I just stare at my figures, or sit outside and look at random options, and I let my mind wander, and an idea will come to me. Beautiful. That's all it takes. So sometimes just sit back, let the ideas come, and most of the time they're going to come so much better than if you were to try to force them out.
Yeah. Another thing too is that sometimes I feel like I have so many figures that it's just hard to decide which one to use, or an idea that I have for a photo montage won't come to fruition for a long time because I'm trying to decide which figure I want to use with it, because it could work with a lot of them. So which one do I choose? And that probably sounds kind of weird, but
no, definitely not. I find myself, I've got a ton of figures too. But I find myself using like the same ones over and over.
Oh.
But that's all right. So in my mind, the idea comes first before the figures or the toys or something. So if I got an idea, even though I just shot Mando and Grogu, I'm gonna shoot them again.
Yeah.
Because I got this idea and I can't wait to do it.
Yeah. Sometimes you just know, and sometimes you just don't. It's just how it is. But
yeah. Absolutely right. Well, Yellow Man Studios, thanks for sending in the question. That's awesome.
Yeah, thank you. I hope I answered it okay.
I think you definitely did. So this question is actually from Go Figure Go, Miguel, and he went out of his way, and he's like, I sent you a message of a question. So he said, this was posted in June 13th, 2017. How do you feel like your art has evolved since then? It's an old one.
Yeah, that's not. I was surprised they went back and found that.
This is what he does. He's done the same to me too. He's grabbed some real old ones, and I'm like, oh, why did you grab that?
Yeah, so I mean, I was proud of it at the time. I can admit it.
Of course, it's fantastic.
Definitely, I've been making a conscious choice to try and make the heads smaller. Well, I mean, not with my toy photos, but like with my drawing like that.
But how do you? Let's think about how has your approach changed since then? Like what? Tell me about. I mean, obviously this this drawing is amazing, and it's 1,000 times better than I will ever be able to do in my entire life. But obviously your artwork has evolved since then. It's look at some recent ones. It's definitely a bit different.
Yeah, it is. That's a good question. I guess how do I feel like it's, well, I definitely, I've been putting more work into like backgrounds and stuff recently, whether that be for photo montage or, just to help them not float there, necessarily.
Yeah.
I definitely, do a lot more digital or digital things now. Then that's probably just a pure drawing right there.
Yeah.
I definitely, even when I do that kind of thing, like with traditional art, sometimes I will still add my own textures just because why not? It makes it look interesting. I definitely use a lot more gradients. I don't know. It's hard to explain. I mean, I think though that, that if you keep working on your craft, or at least any of your crafts, then Of course they're gonna evolve and change because you're gonna evolve and change. And let's see,
Yep.
June 13th, 2017. So I was like 18 when that was.
Oh yeah, you were.
So I
You
mean,
were but a young lad. No, I think it's fan. I really think her eyes like look really great. Like that's it's yeah, I wouldn't even know where to start doing something like this. So that's really awesome.
Thanks.
Miguel, go figure, go, dude. Thanks for putting in all this effort
Yeah,
for making the
thank you.
question. Even made me a little graphic to use on
Nice.
on the stream. That's great.
That's dedication.
Next is from Comic Dad. And I guess we kind of touched on this already. So when did you start your toy photography journey?
Yeah, I guess it started, officially when I took my first photo again was probably back in 2017 or very early 2018. Yeah, I mean, as far as like, just always being inspired by miniatures and stuff. Like I said, that came out about the same time that I first watched the Coraline movie. I might have been in 5th grade. I don't remember.
Yeah, that movie's that's almost 20 years old at this point.
Yeah,
Right?
I think it came out
Maybe
in like
not
2009 or something. So
It's a great movie.
yeah,
really
I
great
really
movie.
like it. I know it's not for everybody, but like learning how that movie was made was something that was really spectacular to me. So
Yeah, that's funny. On the last stream, I was talking about Coraline, and here we are again. Maybe that's a sign. NECA makes a lot of great Coraline figures.
Oh, do they?
Put a few of them out. All right, well, Comic Dad, thanks for sending it in, sir, and thanks for being in the chat for pretty much this whole time.
Yeah,
You're the
thank
man.
you.
Next is from Ben from Action Photography. He says, so what's your favorite place to shoot? And what camera? And what are your camera settings? He says. So
Camera settings. The default on the phone. Except I do I have enabled the rule of thirds grid on there.
Oh, okay, cool.
Otherwise, I don't know what to say about that. It's just the default on my iPhone.
And that's the right answer. That's awesome.
So I mean, every now and then I'll go into an alternate app like Halid or whatever you pronounce it. But typically I don't. Typically I just use the standard camera. Well, that is the standard phone camera. My favorite place to shoot. That's a good question because a lot of the times I don't really go out to just shoot like naturally.
So when you do shoot your figures, like even if it's for a photo montage, like where are you shooting it? Are you like using like a window for like light or like I'm curious as to how you're doing that, or where.
A lot of the times actually it's inside, and at night because that's usually when my inspiration will strike.
Mm-hmm.
And so a lot of my pictures are actually taken in fluorescent light.
Oh, okay.
Believe it or not. And I just I haven't found that to be too much of a problem though, since I typically will lay the figure down so that I can take a
That's so interesting. So you actually lay it down flat and take it like from above?
Yeah, as best as I can anyway.
That's so interesting.
That's usually, it's not every single time, but that's typically how it's done.
That's so interesting. That's really, really cool. You have such a different and unique approach to this kind of thing than what we're all used to, for sure.
Yeah, that's why I'm so happy that you let me be a part of this community, because I'm like, well, I'm like over here like, oh, well, I'm like a pop artist. Like, I
kidding? No, thank you for showing it to us. It's amazing.
Thanks.
Oh, and Stubbs is throwing out there some other third-party apps to use. So for camera apps, so Film Mic Pro and Open Camera. Cool.
Okay.
That's really cool.
Could probably try checking those out. Thank you.
I've been really curious too because my wife bought me AirPods for Christmas, and they're fantastic, and the microphone on them is so good, but I can't use that microphone to record with the camera. It just doesn't. That's not what it's for, and Apple doesn't let that happen. So I guess there are some third-party apps that allow that to happen, and I need to get used to that because that'll be super handy using those. Cool. Well, Ben, thanks for sending in the question, man.
Yeah, thank you. I will go a little bit further. Sometimes I just real quick. Sometimes I do have like I mean, so I live basically out in the desert. So sometimes I go shoot out, like just standard photos out in the desert, and to use in photo montages, or like again, that building on the boulevard here,
right?
That I took a picture of. So there's that.
Cool. That's good. I'm glad it doesn't. It's good to not be like totally strict on one way. Like I like to do it this way, and that's the way I want to do it. But every once in a while, if you want to venture outside and find something, I think that's great.
Yeah.
You got to keep your options open.
Yep.
And then whenever you do end up doing something different like that, you always end up learning something, something different.
Yeah.
So that's really awesome. But I guess we did kind of go over this one. But Austin Nicholas says, where does your inspiration for your content come from?
Yeah, so video games, comic books,
right?
But other art that I see that's kind of pop arty, like Lichtenstein or Warhol,
right? All over the place.
Yeah, and I'm even though I kind of have a set style, to be honest, I still do sometimes like to mix it up a little bit. So
good.
Like just to add something a little bit more exciting to the same old kind of thing that I would do otherwise.
Yeah, you gotta switch it up sometimes. Yeah. So that's awesome. Austin Nicholas, thank you so much, sir.
Yep. And
actually, you know what? That was the last question.
Oh, okay.
Thank you, guys. That's fantastic. I still have a couple more for you.
Okay.
There are questions that. Oh wait, we have a question.
Okay.
She's always good. Are you?
What?
Are you ready for your?
Yeah. Question? What's your favorite toy to take photos of?
My favorite toy to take photos of, like the specific character.
The specific character, or what toy? Like what favorite character or favorite toy? Both. Oh, sorry. Okay. You hear that?
So my favorite toy is Funko Rock Candy to shoot. I have probably the most of those right now, and they're I'm sad that they went away, but hopefully you never know.
Oh, they stopped making the Funko Rock Candies?
I think so. And I'm really sad about it. To be fair, though, I do kind of find that the sodas are similar-ish, like, kind of, with their proportions, at least. So there's that.
Yeah, they're more that cartoonish, kind of more humanoid-ish looking statue as opposed to giant bobblehead.
Right. So yeah, but I would say Rock Candy, and my favorite character to shoot, well, so that's a really good question. I do a lot of Alice from Alice in Wonderland.
Ooh, Alice. That's a great answer.
The only right answer is Harley Quinn. I'm out. Bye.
Okay, well, I like Harley Quinn. I actually, if you want to know, I have at least 4 of those rock candies, or maybe at least 3, but still.
Well, it's not the only right answer. So
okay.
Whatever you're saying is the right answer.
Okay.
She just really likes Harley Quinn.
No, I know, and I understand. I do too. I mean,
There she is. Yeah, I was just pulling up your Spoon Harley photo as a reference for her as she asked you that question.
Yeah.
Okay, so my last 2 questions are questions that I do really like to ask on these. Okay, so the first question is, what character do you love, or one of your favorite characters that does not yet exist in like action figure form, or even like rock candy or any type of form yet, that you want them to make this character? Like, why haven't they made a rock candy of this character yet, or something?
Well, okay, so I'm gonna say one that's kind of like, just one that I wish that they would have made when they had the chance. And then I'm gonna say another one that, like, well, just because, so I would have liked to see them have a comfy Cinderella up from their comfy princess line.
Oh,
I'm
that's a
surprised
cool
they
idea.
never made her. She's like, she's my favorite Disney princess too. So it's like, really,
She's definitely one of the most iconic too. So yeah,
yeah.
that's pretty surprising. Also, interesting.
As far as a character that hasn't ever been made, and well, to my knowledge anyway, I'm gonna say Eilonwy, Princess Eilonwy from the Black Cauldron.
Oh, okay, cool. I've never seen that movie, but I definitely am familiar with that. Cool. All right. I was I wish I had a contribution to that, but yeah, there's always so many great characters that just don't yet exist.
Yeah.
I'm hoping maybe it'll be this coming Christmas that somebody makes a Grinch. Like, why do we not have a good Grinch? And I mean Jim Carrey Grinch. Like,
Really?
Why does that not exist? Somebody do it.
That's a good question. I guess I didn't think about that. Maybe it's because, well, I mean, you could ask us anything about the Cat in the Hat, but I found the Cat in the Hat to be kind of a creepy movie. I'm not going to be honest.
Whoa, really? The Mike Myers one?
Yeah.
All right.
To
Hot
be
take.
honest, though, I was really young when I saw it. Or, well, I couldn't. I think my problem with it was I'm not bashing anybody that loves it, by the way. I mean, it's just
been a
my
while.
personal. It's just my opinion. But I wasn't able to get through it when I was really young.
For the Cat in the Hat?
Yeah, I just, yeah.
It definitely was not. It was kind of trying to ride off the success of the Grinch, I think, and it wasn't that bad, I don't think, but yeah, totally forgettable in my
Well,
mind.
I think for me the problem with the live action Dr. Seuss movies is that they took a kid's book and made it not for kids.
Yeah,
I
definitely.
not that that's a horrible thing, but just that it's just a little, off the wall. Maybe I'll have to go back and watch The Cat in the Hat, because I'm not judging it. I'm just over here like, well, yeah, when I was younger, I couldn't get through it. Maybe I could now.
Yeah, maybe newfound adult appreciation for it.
Yeah.
But I want to say to Will and Force for joining the membership, dude. That's amazing. Thank you so much. That's incredibly awesome of you, and I hope you enjoyed the stuff. I'll send you a DM later. That's amazing. Thank you so much, man. And Ben is also here. Hey Ben, we were just talking about the question that you submitted earlier, and Will and Force was also saying, yeah, I agree with this. We don't really have a good newer line of Lord of the Rings figures, and I don't know how. That's like a crime. There's a bunch of old stuff from when the movies came out, but like, why hasn't somebody picked up that line and just pumped out like quality Lord of the Rings stuff? Like, that's,
I don't know. Funko Soda, has some Lord of the Rings stuff.
Right, Funko. That's for
I
sure.
know.
Yeah. But it would be nice to have some quality, like
actual ones, like
yeah. Yeah. Somebody came out with some recently that are like in between, like a 12th scale and like a 18th scale.
Oh, okay.
They're okay, but somebody jump on that. But yeah, thanks Will and Force for the love. And he's also saying, suddenly I feel the need for a Mike Myers Cat in the Hat and make the baseball bat scene. Oh yeah, I definitely remember that being a scene. I don't remember what happened, but
can't say I remember that one.
All right, so my last question for you is, where do you see yourself in 5 years as a toy photographer? Or where would you like to be? Where do you see yourself, like?
Well, I certainly wasn't prepared for that.
It doesn't have to be super in depth. Just like, what do you think would be some things you would have liked to have accomplished or gotten better at, or anything?
Well, that's a good question. I'm hoping to get a little bit more of it, out into the public's eye. I think I told Jared already, but yeah, I have I've been selling some photo montage prints at a local comic shop here.
That's so cool.
So and apparently recently some of them sold, so that's nice.
That's so cool. So is it like kind of like a consignment kind of deal where they like you get paid if they sell them, or they just buy them all flat out from you?
Yeah. So if they yeah, so they're on a display there, and if someone picks it up, or well, I mean, buys it, then yeah, though. Well, at least they're supposed to pay me, so they better. Just kidding.
And I'm assuming they'll take a cut of that.
I don't, except for the processing fees. They say I get to keep the money, so whatever is. Yeah.
That's cool. That sounds really cool. I would love I'd love to go to a local comic book shop and offer that to them and see if they would be. I think that's cool that the comic book shop does that. Do they do that with other artists too, or is that just like something you kind of figured out with them?
So this comic book shop in particular is really open to helping like all types of local artists.
That's really cool.
And I have a section of the display like stand. But yeah, they've got other people displayed there too for not only photo montage but drawing and 3D printing and
it's really cool.
What have you? Yeah, it's neat. So I'm glad that I got in there, to be a part of that.
Yeah, that's really cool. Well, yeah, definitely. When you make sales and stuff like that, post it on like your stories and stuff. I'd love to. I don't know. I just love to hear how that goes. I just think it's so cool when I hear like success stories of people selling their toy photos or just like doing entrepreneur types of stuff with their toys. I think that's so cool. That's so cool, and it's inspiring. Really inspiring.
So yeah, after that, I really don't know. I mean, I'm just hoping to keep getting some figures. Eventually, the house will be flooded with them, but oh well. And I'm just always on the lookout for for new kind of opportunities and ways to to take photos. I don't get out of the house much, but when I do,
when you do,
yeah,
you usually take a photo and incorporate it beautifully into a photo somehow, a photo montage.
Well, thank you. Yes.
So if you're not already following Phil, you gotta be. You gotta be following Phil at PhillForehand. Go to his Instagram just like this, or just go right into the description of the YouTube video. The link is right there. I saved it right there, so it's nice and easy. So there's no excuse. All right. Well, Phil, you got anything else you want to plug, or anything else you want to mention, or anything else before that's it?
Maybe just that top middle picture there. I mean, I know you've shown it a couple times already, but
I'm so excited for her.
Yeah, me too. So that was one. So that I just wanted to mention. Someone mentioned Andy Warhol. This is one of the ones I was inspired by Andy Warhol. Sort of, except Andy Warhol did like these really weird like colors and stuff that were just kind of random. Maybe not random, but like they seem random. For part of my style, like that's definitely a figure that I've recolored and like restyled her hair and stuff. But as far as like recoloring goes, I'll generally try to only pick colors that like actually make sense and will make sense. You know what I mean? Like so I tried to, she's a Colombian American actress, so I tried my best to kind of match her skin tone. It's not quite the same, but whatever. I just did my best. And I recolored the outfit and stuff, and I mean, so yeah, I mean, I sometimes I do get inspired by Andy Warhol when I recolor a figure, but it's always, number one, it's always digitally. I don't alter my figures, and number two, it's it's gotta make sense. I don't just put colors around willy nilly. So.
Yeah.
It's just kind of a conscious choice.
No, I think the yellow and purple is like a perfect I don't know, like way to just kind of accentuate the colors on her.
Yeah.
Yep.
So. Yep. That was definitely that was a fun one to work on.
Yeah. This is it's fantastic. Well, dude, thank you again for everything. Thanks for being, the membership, and thanks for coming on and talking and sharing all this stuff with us. And there's so much more behind each one of your photos than I had any idea. Like, I imagined there was a whole bunch of stuff that I didn't, understand, but it's just so cool about, everything, all the little things you put into it, and practical things and not practical things. So,
well, thank you for having me. I really, I enjoyed this. I hope it comes across that I enjoyed this, because I mean, I obviously I'm a little awkward about it because I've never done this before, but I definitely appreciate it, and I had fun. And
awesome. I'm glad to hear it.
I definitely have fun in the, I like being a part of the community. I know I'm not uber active, but with everyone, but I like being able to be a part of this. So thank you for having me.
I'm just glad to hear that. I'm just glad to hear it. And Miguel, thank you, dude. That little graphic you made, that was fantastic. It's back. We talked all about it. So thanks for putting that together. I even used your graphic and everything. All right. Well, Phil, have a fantastic night. Thank you again for everything. And I'm definitely looking forward to seeing more of your work popping up. So, yeah. Thanks again, dude.
Yeah, of course. Thank you.
All right. Have a good night.
Thanks everyone else too.
Yes. Thank you everybody for watching and being awesome and all that. So, yes. Have a good night, everyone. See ya.
See ya.